At this time, I would like to invite Paul to come forward to share with us a few words.
First, I'd like to thank you all for coming. It means a lot to our family. And I know that my mom would be very proud to see some old, dear friends. I don't mean old, but longtime dear friends. Sandy and Velta, thank you so much for coming. And Dave, Oscar, and Flavio, Doug, Barbara, everybody. It means a lot to us that you're here. I don't plan to talk for long, but once I get going, all bets are off, so never know. I have some notes here because I don't want to miss anything. At work, I think I'm paid by the word, but here, I guess, it doesn't matter. Anyway, our experiences with people shape our perceptions and our perspectives of people. And we all have different perspectives and different perceptions because we all see people in a different manner. We all have different experiences. And I'd like to share just a few experiences that I had with my mom. They were really good. Both my parents, each of my parents did a wonderful job in my opinion, my perspective, my perception. I remember being 3 and 4 years old, spending a lot of time with my mom in Black Mountain, North Carolina. My dad had a few acres, he built a house there, and being able to go outside and every morning, and my dad had built a bridge across the creek, and I would lay down the bridge. I had named all the spiders under the bridge. So I'd go out and tell my mom which spiders were there. And she'd always let me be a little boy. I'd go out and look for snakes, look for frogs, look for turtles, and my mom would be right there with me when I was walking through the fields. And those were some very, very good memories. I got to spend a lot of time with her at that point. My dad worked quite a bit, and I guess she had taken off work to be with me when I was so young. And as I got a little older, my mom shared a great deal with me. She shared a great deal of her knowledge, whether it was experience that she'd had or whether it was learned experience. She taught me a lot about things, about compassion, about love, and some of the bad things in this world. She taught me about prejudice and hate, and she explained to me every time I had a question, when I encountered something I didn't understand, if I had encountered prejudice and I'd ask her, she explained it quite well to me. And she did a great job with me teaching me, even though I didn't always listen to what she told me. She taught me the difference between right and wrong, and even when I was doing wrong, I knew it. And it was because my mother taught me. And of course, her being a nurse was helpful. Because whether it was a scraped knee or bruised ribs or broken bones, she was there to help. And nursing was extremely important to my mom. It was part of her giving, part of her care. And afterwards, when you go over to the reception, you'll see some things on the table there that display that, going back to before I was born. And I didn't bring a lot because my sister Nell fortunately shared with me a great deal of that, and there's boxes of letters. But my dad wrote to her in World War II. And of course, she met my father while going to nursing school. He was an instructor. She was 18 years old at the Westchester School of Nursing in Valhalla, New York, at the Grasslands Hospital. But she had a great deal of energy, which I'm sure most of you, if you knew her, knew that. Up until even a week before she passed, she was still going through the halls to dinner and lunch with her walker. I remember when she first started using her walker, I couldn't keep up with her. We'd get out of the car and she'd be off, and it's like, for 13 years, she worked for me in my company, and she wrangled a lot of employees that weren't easy to wrangle. But she would show up at 5 a.m. or 5:30 a.m. in the morning every day, and she'd work until 5 o'clock at night. And she did a wonderful job keeping that place going. And of course, this church meant a great deal to her. And Father Mark reminded us of that. And her faith was deep to the very end. We would call her in the evenings and speak with her, and she would always, make sure you say your prayers, she'd tell me every night. And she was extremely, extremely faithful person, extremely dedicated to the Catholic Church and to St. Charles in particular, obviously. In the wonderful obituary that my brother-in-law wrote, he mentioned that she was a poet, a closet poet, I guess. I brought a couple. She would write us poetry frequently, and I think she sent poets, sometimes the same poems to each child. But it was always special when we got it, and I have stacks of these, but I just picked out 2. And I'm going to try to read them. I'm going to have to put my glasses on for this. Frequently, if we sent her a card or a gift for Mother's Day or Christmas, we would typically get a poem back from her. These happen to both be from 2013. I have a chariot. Its name is Love. It has 4 golden wheels with spokes made from jewel dust, diamond, emerald, and sapphire. It takes me wherever I desire. Hop aboard and dream with me. The journey is as far as you want it to be. Tucked inside are memories. As you dream, you'll find happy thoughts of every kind. Remember when, remember where, remember who? All coming into view. Laughs and kisses and hugs galore. Oh, and so much more. Love is expressed through thoughtfulness and kindness, as sent by you to me to say, have a happy Mother's Day. Thank you for coming on this dreamy trip with me in my chariot. I got one more. Also, when I'm done, like I said, I'm only going to be here for a minute. Anybody that would like to share any experiences that would be welcome to do so, I suppose. Okay, I'm going to get permission.
As long as they're 20 seconds or less, because everybody's going to want to share. That's what the reception's for.
Yeah, okay. So another short one. All creatures show the emotion called love. And when push comes to shove, nothing compares with a mother's love. The emotion that she and her children share. I have the good fortune to feel Mother's Day sentiment 24/7. So feel the hugs and kisses enclosed herein. You made me your mother. Now let's begin. I'm sitting on a star to feel your presence. I glow with pride with that emotion called love. So there's just a couple that she shared with us, and I have so many, as I say, but these were just a couple I selected. And I guess I really don't have a lot else to say. Thank everybody for being here, and look forward to seeing you all at the reception.
Thank you, Paul. Well, since you gave me the chance, I've heard 2 stories about your mom that I'm just intrigued by. The first is I loved in the obituary, it said that her and your dad had a discreet but successful courtship, because of course she was a student, he was one of the professors, not exactly looked up upon, you know, if you want to say. But of course they got engaged at the time when you had to read the banns of marriage, that the marriages were announced publicly so people could object if they needed to object or whatever. And so she and your dad had their marriage banns read across town in the Polish church where nobody knew them. They were written in Polish too, so that's why it's a little bit of a rapscallion going on. But then another story I've heard, and I hope at the reception someone can maybe make the connections for me. Apparently when your mom was younger, she had cancer. Yes. And her treatment was paid for by the Rosenbergs, you know, the nuclear spies. Yeah. It's like, what's the connection there? And why did the Rosenbergs pay for your mom?